What's going on, guys? Dots here, and today I'm bringing you my updated user interface guide for the Elder Scrolls Online High Isle patch. So in today's video, we're going to be going through all of my add-ons and my user interface settings so that if you guys do want to copy my UI, you can. I get a lot of questions about my add-ons a lot. I run a pretty simplistic and minimalistic UI, only running some stuff that I feel like makes the game better and adds some really nice quality of life to it, but I don't want too much bloat just because ESO add-ons can very easily bog down the game. Now, speaking of bogging down the game, there was an issue that started popping up in Ascending Tide where, unfortunately, and some of you may have this, but a lot of people do not, but for those of you who unfortunately do, if you've ever noticed an issue where you are in Cyrodiil and everything is perfectly fine, but then all of a sudden when enemy players load in, you notice that your frames start to plummet. Only when enemy players not load in, not friendly players, your frames just plummet. I have a way for you to improve that today. I unfortunately have that issue myself. This solution that I'm gonna give you guys isn't a fix, but it is a drastic improvement to it, and hopefully ZeniMax will fix this over time and we will not have to deal with this issue anymore. But kicking off into the add-ons, let's start off with our first add-on in the list, and that is going to be Action Duration Reminder, one of my favorite add-ons in the game. Basically what this does is it adds a counter on your skill whenever you use an ability, and then when you swap bars you can still see it. This just makes it really easy for you to track your buffs and debuffs while you are playing the game, and it is an add-on that I personally cannot live without. Now, in terms of my basic settings for Action Duration Reminder, I do have multiple target tracking on, clear when combat ends turned off. I also do have timers and the shift bar enabled. If you click move shift bar, you will be able to move. The shift bar is basically when you swap bars and it pops up here. That is basically, this is the shift bar, and at a default it's down here and it constantly bumps your health up and down, which I find really annoying. So I moved it up above my health bar so that when I do swap bars, I can just see the shift bar right above it. I think besides that, I don't think I really changed too much just scrolling through these settings here, but I think that is about it. You could also, I guess, turn auto move attribute bars off, but then I guess if you have the shift bar on, it would cover it, so I don't recommend doing that. The next add-on that we have in the list is going to be Addon Selector, which gives my add-on list here the appearance that it does. It basically allows you to create add-on packs for when you're playing the game. So I have a Cyrodiil pack, a Magcrow pack, a PvE pack, and a Stamplar pack so that I can load and unload different add-ons as I need them, depending on what I'm doing and who I am playing in the game. The next add-on that I have is BugCatcher. So BugCatcher does exactly what it sounds like. It catches bugs. So when a Lua error pops up, instead of it just popping up on your screen and covering up the whole thing, BugCatcher instead puts it in this little top thing in the top left, and you can show the bug log if you want to. You can wipe all bugs if you want, so you won't see anything here, but it just prevents the Lua errors from basically popping up on your screen and just screwing things up while you are playing. The next add-on that we do have is Combat Metrics. Combat Metrics is your primo DPS add-on. You can see it here at the top left. Sorry, I keep hitting control. I've been playing too much BDO. You can see it here at the top left of your screen. This is the live action window, and you could also set a keybind in your UI to bring up the full window here. When you do actually like a DPS parse on a target dummy and you bring this up, it's the gold standard DPS add-on in ESO, and if you're going to be doing any semblance of serious PvE, you are going to want that add-on. Also good for PvP to test certain things. The next add-on that I have is called Cooldowns. I have this disabled right now because I really only run this on my Templar. Basically, I have this set up so that I can show my Essence Thief when it is off cooldown, so I know that when I do my next light attack, it will actually proc. Now, I'm going to leave this up to you guys to actually set this add-on up if you do choose to use it, just because, again, you might only need this if you're wearing certain gear sets. I literally only use this on any character that uses Essence Thief, otherwise I don't use it. So you're going to need to customize this to your own desires if you do feel a need for it on the build that you have. The next add-on that I have is Daily Alchemy, as well as Dolgubon's Lazy Writ Creator. So basically these two add-ons will let you auto do your writs every day. So you just walk up to the writ board and you collect the writs, and then you can auto complete them at the tables. It's super easy. You literally don't have to do anything when you are actually doing the writs. So for my daily alchemy, I have many stocks selected for priority reagent, and then I have retrieve items from bank on and show log on, and then everything else is off. You can see my settings right here. Now for the lazy Writ creator, when I set it up, basically what I did is you're gonna get a pop-up window the first time you install it that says like, would you like to use default settings? I personally just hit yes and just use whatever the default settings that it has. But you can also do, you know, automatic quest dialog, automatic bank dialog, despawn banker, exit crafting window, keep new status, change reticle color. You can just see like literally it just makes it super easy. You just walk up and it automatically does everything for you. So as long as you select the default settings, you'll pretty much be good to go. You might have to turn autocraft on. Sometimes you actually have to click the button up top, but if you turn autocraft on, that'll do it for you. So lazy Writ creator and daily alchemy make it extremely easy to do your writs very quickly. I also use DarkUI. DarkUI is what gives my my user interface the night mode appearance that it has. I did not change any settings for this. I just installed it and let it do its thing. The next addon that we have is going to be Greyskull. So Greyskull is the thing next to my ultimate that shows my current weapon damage. I like to have this add-on so that I know when my damage is at its peak, so that I know when I can go for some big burst. So basically all you really need to do is set whether or not you want to track weapon or spell damage. You could also like certain different color alerts if you want to, so you can like, if you know exactly how much spell damage your build has, you can set different break point thresholds, so you know like, oh, I have this set procced and this procced, and so I know how much weapon damage I have, and boom, I can go in. But for the most part, I just like to, you know, look at it myself. And then you could also scale it up if you want to, press period and drag it around, and you'll basically be good to go. Very easy add-on to set up because all you really have to do is set your damage type. The next add-on that we have in the list is going to be Inventory Insight, an add-on that I personally cannot live without. This and Action Duration Reminder, I think, are like two of my three big boys. So this add-on, if I can remember the keybind for it, literally gives me an insight into all of the inventory across all of my characters, as well as my bank and in my house. This makes it extremely easy to keep track of my items and where they are, just so that, you know, if I have to find my one-handed axe of Hunding's Rage for some reason, I don't have to go look through all of my characters, my bank, all of my chests to try to figure out where it is. I can just use this add-on, and you can even search if I want to. If I want to search all ancient dragon guard pieces, I can do that and see where they are, scroll through the list. And so it just makes it really, really easy to keep track of all your gear and know where it all is. Now, the next add-on that we have in our list is going to be map pins. So when you pull up map pins, you can just go to filter here, and you can basically add additional pins to your map. Pretty straightforward. If you click this filter, you can turn certain things on or off. And yeah, that you could just customize that to your liking. Not really a whole lot to set up there. Like I said, map, filters, and then just select what things you want to actually show. This also does track Stygic Rifts, which is pretty cool too, to allow you to you know, find out where those are and complete the Stygic order. The next one that I have is PapaCrown. Only use this when I do group PvP. This basically makes the crown above my group leader freaking massive, so makes it easier for me to follow them around. Up to you whether or not you want to use this add-on or not. If you do that kind of PvP, if you do, you can use it if you have trouble tracking people, but if not, you don't need to. The next add-on that I use is Potion Maker. So Potion Maker basically makes it so that when I use an alchemy table, I have a much better user interface for when I'm trying to craft items. I actually find it really beneficial for when I'm trying to craft potions. So I just go to the alchemy station, and now it looks like this. So I can select my reagent, what kind of effects I'm looking for, and search or specific reagents, and then search for the potion. You can also do it for poisons as well. Makes it really easy to actually create potions and poisons compared to having to always constantly look things up. You can select your desired effects from that list, as you saw. Select your water or oil, your reagents if you do know them, and if not, you don't have to. And then boom, it'll tell you, okay, you can create that potion using X, Y, and Z. So it's an extremely helpful add-on, and I definitely recommend it if you do make a lot of potions. Also do use Raid Notifier. Raid Notifier is the gold standard raiding add-on, so think of this as deadly boss mods or bigwigs if you play WoW. You're going to be using this if you raid in ESO. This is just, you know, you're going to have to basically set this up, you know, according to how your raid leader wants it set up. So I'm not going to go over everything here in this video, but you're basically going to make adjustments in this add-on based off of what they say, but you're definitely going to want this if you do plan on doing any semblance of serious PvE in ESO. The next one that I have is Synergy Cooldown. Again, I only have this used on my Magic and Necromancer, and again, I'll leave this up to you guys. Set it up to yourself if you do decide this is something you want to use. I use this on my macro because my macro is a bomber, and so I want to be able to track the cooldown of my grave robbers, so just so I know whether or not I actually have it going into an engagement. So I use it for that purpose. Only character I use it on, otherwise I don't really use it. So again, if you want to use it on a macro, would be a good thing to grab. But you know, again, it's a pretty niche add-on, so I'm not going to go over through all the settings here, but you can set this up if this is something you do want to use for yourself. The next one that I have is Uric Skill Point Finder. I find this really helpful for when I am trying to figure out where I can get more skill points from. It tells me what skill points I've currently collected, which ones I am missing, so that if I do need to get more skill points on a character, I can actually go to all these various places and find them. You also need to set a keybind for this to actually bring up the window. The next add-on that I have is Votan's Keybinder. So for whatever reason, as far as I know, ESO still does not have account-wide keybinds. All Votan's Keybinder does is make you have account-wide keybinds. So you can just literally select which keybinds will be account-wide and which ones will not be by selecting these little buttons here. Very, very easy. Next one that I have is Votan's Minimap. That is the minimap that appears on the right side right here. You know, just a standard minimap, in my opinion, it's the best minimap add-on in the game. It runs really well, does not do a lot of performance hits. And to actually move the minimap, you need to unlock it. So if you see lock position and size, turn that to off and then bring up your cursor with period, and then you'll be able to move it and adjust it and change it all you want. Now I keep mine over there to the right. In terms of my other settings that I have, you can look at these numbers right here and see those if you want to. I'll also scroll down really slowly. So, you know, I show map pretty much at all times. Zoom map to player off. So you can see I do ESO style, keyboard bold, medium, top, off, on, real, and in-game time, 12-hour clock, show camera heading off, zone change alert, minimap hidden, show and hide compass untouched, show freeze warning off. So those are the settings that I have for my minimap personally. The next one that I have is Photons Search Box, and this is going to be a little bit more of a niche add-on. This is more of like a gripe that I personally have with the game, not something that's entirely necessary. So you're going to notice when you play ESO that at a base, the game does have a search box in the inventory, right? It does have one there. Hooray, that's great. But it doesn't have one in certain crafting windows and transmutation windows, and I find that extremely annoying. So Votan's Search Box adds a search thing that you can click in every area in the game that you could possibly want to search for something. So I personally like the add-on. I find it a lot easier to just be able to search for things at any time. You know, I don't want to scroll through every piece of gear I have when I'm looking to improve something or transmute something. I'd like to be able to just search for it. And so Votan's Search Box adds that in all places. The next add-on that I have is WeaponCharger. All this add-on does is charge your weapons. Very simple. I haven't charged a weapon in years. You install this, it charges your weapons, you're good to go. Finally, the next add-on I have is yet another compass. Again, this is an add-on that I use if I'm doing very organized group PvP. Adds a little green compass to my right side. Makes it much easier to call out cardinal directions as well as follow them, so I know I'm always heading in the right place. But again, I don't really use that unless I'm doing super organized group PvP, so most times I do have that off. But again, that was pretty much a plug-and-play add-on. Now, in terms of your libraries, you guys are going to need to install these libraries as needed. So basically, when you install all these add-ons from Minion, a lot of times it will install several libraries along with it, but not all the time. So basically, when you go to power up ESO, you see all the add-ons populate. You can basically click this drop-down box right here, and it'll say required add-ons, blah, 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 blah. And if any of these are missing, you can download these libraries from Minion, and using the add-on pack, set these to go, you know, to be on whenever the add-on that you are trying to use is also turned on. So just gotta go download all those libraries. Now, in terms of other settings that I have for my video settings, I do windowed full screen. I have multi-threaded rendering turned on. This does help with performance quite a lot. For my graphics quality, I have a custom profile. I do high texture, FXA, anti-aliasing, high subsampling, high shadow, off screen space reflection quality, off planar reflection quality, 1024 magical particle systems, 50 particle suppression distance, and 37 view distance, no ambient occlusion, low grass, simple depth of field. I turn off bloom, I keep distortion and sunlight rates on, and I turn off show additional ally effects. Now in terms of audio, you can set this up however you want. I have this kind of lower because I stream. For gameplay, I have combat cues turned on. I also have custom colors turned on. This will give you your like custom colors for your friendly AoEs and your enemy AoEs, and I personally did pink and a bright green for my colors. Turn off double tap to dodge. Use a single key to dodge, which you can change in your controls. Ground targeting range lock I turn on. This basically allows you to do one-click AoEs. I don't have a skill on my bar that I could do that really quick, but basically instead of having to, like an AoE skill like eruption, instead of having to click eruption and then click the ground where you want it, basically what it does is that it just goes wherever your mouse is. Think of it as like smart casting from other games. So definitely want to turn that on. Prevent attacking innocents. I usually have this turned on if I'm not playing a vampire, but since like all my characters are vampires, I turn this off so I can feed when I need to. Again, quick cast ground abilities are on. Oh, actually, ground targeting range lock. I'm sorry, I spoke ahead of myself. Quick cast ground abilities turn on for that thing I just explained, but ground targeting range lock will basically make it so that you can't aim abilities beyond their maximum range. So you want to turn both of those on. Companion ultimate auto cast turned on. Obviously, I don't use gamepad mode. Solid area loot and auto root turned on. Auto add to craft back on. Loot history on. Camera I did not change. Interface I prefer user ID. I turn literally everything here on. Chat bubbles off. I also have performance and latency on, so I can move that to the top right corner so I can see my latency and my frame rates. Nameplates, I do turn these on. I left this at the default settings to not change anything. Health bars, I turned this on. Left this at default settings, didn't change anything. I have enemy on. I have everything on down here. I don't really think I changed much of that. Social, I turned off the profanity filter. I turned off leaderboard notifications. If you get annoyed by those notifications at the top, you just say turn them off. Auto decline duels off. AVA now, so it's automatic. Then you can just select all of your guild colors if you want to. I found this helpful for tracking the chats of multiple guilds, much easier. For combat, a lot of people ask about this. Dots, how do I get my ability bar and my attributes to always show? This is how. Ability bar, always show. Attribute bars, always show. Resource number percent. Active combat tips, automatic ultimate number on. So I get all those numbers down on my ability bar below. Now, you do technically have ability bar timers here, like a built-in ADR, but I personally think that action duration reminder works a little bit better, so I use that instead of the built-in one. All combat text, I turn this on. I get asked a lot, is your combat text an add-on? No, it is the base game combat text. I turn it on. I leave it at a default. For buffs and debuffs, I do turn on target debuffs. I only care about if I'm, what status effects and stuff that they have. So I do track my debuffs only on my opponents. We've gone over all of our add-on settings. For controls, I actually do have a controls guide on my YouTube channel if you want to go check that out. If you do want to learn more about how I have my keybinds set up. But guys, I think on that note, that is going to do it. My updated add-ons guide for the Elder Scrolls Online High Isle patch. Now, a lot of you may ask, well, Dots, a bunch of your add-ons are out of date. Is that going to cause a problem? No, I've tested all of these add-ons. Even with them being out of date, I don't have any problems. And even you guys are like, but Dots, what about you were talking about the frame rate problem earlier? Isn't those going to cause the problem? No, I still have the problem even with every single add-on turned off. Speaking of which, how to fix the issue if you are like me, and unfortunately every time you're in Cyrodiil and an enemy player loads in, your frames go into the toilet. The way that you need to fix that, you do need to do a user settings edit in your Elder Scrolls Online game files. So what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to go to your documents folder. You're going to want to go to Elder Scrolls Online. You are going to want to go to live. You are going to want to click user settings. You are then going to scroll down to, there's going to be two lines that are important. This really will mostly apply to you if you have like a processor that can run like 16 threads. That's typically the people that I see have the biggest issue. And if anybody has this issue, it means that you're probably just running more threads in your processor than ESO likes. Apparently, ESO suddenly only likes 8 threads. I've never had this issue before until recently, but apparently that's like a new thing. So what you want to do is you want to go to the set requested num job threads and set requested num worker threads, which you will see in your user settings. They're going to be set set to -1, which basically means it pulls your system to see how much it can use, and it uses that much. But we are going to set those to 8 if that is the problem that you have. Obviously, if you have less cores and less threads in your processor, you are going to want to use less, but if you have, odds are you're only having this problem if you have more than 8, and so you're going to want to set it to 8 because that is what the maximum that ESO wants to use. Now, I still, even with this quote fix, I still have the issues, I still have the problem. It is significantly less severe, so I'm hoping that they add some sort of fix for this sometime soon, but this will serve as a temporary band-aid until that day eventually comes. But guys, with that being said, that is going to be it for me today on my updated ESO add-ons guide. Hopefully you did find this useful, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like on it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And for more MMORPG content, ESO, Black Desert Online, and others, please hit that sub button as well as hit the bell to keep those notifications on. Thank you all so much for stopping by today. I do very much appreciate it. As always, I'm Dots Gaming, and I'll see you all in the next video.